I'd like to introduce you to the Superfood breakfast. This is something you can eat at any time of day. And what I so appreciate about this is you don't need to cook. Everything can be done from cold, and that makes life very easy for travelling, which is the case for me a lot of the time. So, let me introduce you. First of all, begin with some oats. Get a couple of measures of oats. Place them into the bowl. And I pour some spring water, which I just harvested 20 minutes ago. And allow the oats to soak in the spring water for 20 minutes ideally. As much time as I can afford to give them long as you can. So, as they say in the famous English TV children's programme, this is one I did earlier. So this has been soaked for a good 20 minutes, which means it's ready to have all the ingredients added to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge these oats for some superfoods. These are available, as I've mentioned before, on a film from Harvest Moon. A very good company. Get them through eBay on the internet. And this one is called Mesquite. Now this enables me to introduce you to another thing, which is that yes, the Codex Alimentarius did come into effect this April, and so some of these wonderful products are no longer available easily, and this is one of them. This one's called Mesquite. If you can get it, count yourself fortunate. Now with the superfoods, you want to start off with small quantities. If, like me, you're electrosensitive, you need to keep the quantities small, because otherwise they would overcharge me. So my next one is called Lucuma. This one, to my knowledge, is still definitely available. A little bit of Lucuma. Most of these plants come from South America, from the Amazon jungles. They're very, very powerful plants indeed. This one is more well known than the other two. This is called maca. This one is available through more conventional sources. It's very strong. There's a small amount of maca in there. One that is far more commonly heard of than the ones I've used so far is bee pollen. I've got a really generous spoonful of bee pollen into the mix there. Now, I can go either of two ways. I can go to make what I call the green breakfast or brown breakfast. This one is going to be the green breakfast. So I'm now going to add two very powerful foods indeed. These are blue-green algae. This particular one is called spirulina. Put a little bit of spirulina in there. This is very, very rich in nutrients. And the next one I'm going to add is called chlorella. Chlorella is a really good detox. I've recently had some mercury fillings removed from my mouth, so in order to help me get the mercury out of my body, it really helps if I have a very strong detox. So a little bit of chlorella is going to go in there to detox. Another green alga. And then there's one more superfood I could add, which is this one here called stevia. Another green powder. A little bit of that in. This is a very, very sweet substance, very rich in nutrients, but very sweet. Much sweeter than sugar, so careful on the amounts you use for that one. So I've got my superfoods in there, and what I would do now is mix them in to the oats. And the oats are suddenly going to start to change colour and give me what I call my green breakfast. So having done that, what I would now do is add whatever fruit I've got. And the one fruit I'd highly recommend, if you possibly can, is a fruit which is a real English fruit. It's called the apple. Apples are known by the ancient Celtic tree oracle as being concerned with beauty. So apples relate to beauty. I'm peeling the apple because it's so much easier to grate once it's peeled. It prevents the grated bits from flying over the space. So I simply grate the apple in. And I'd mix that in. A touch more water if necessary. Just to mix it easily, keep it moist. And there's no end to the fruit that I could add. I could certainly put some of this pineapple in, for example. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to really concentrate now on putting what I call some red foods in there. These are pomegranate seeds. Pomegranate is just amazing. There are so many good properties of pomegranate, so I'm definitely going to get some of those seeds in there. Mix them in. And the other red fruit I'm going to use in this particular one is strawberries. A few strawberries in too. And as you've noticed, I've already given these strawberries a little wash before they go in. The fruit I'll put in is a banana. Bananas are rich in the amino acid tryptophan, they're very good calming foods. Very good food to eat before you go to bed if you've got any issues with sleeping. And the last ingredient is a very powerful superfood called a goji berry. So what you do with goji berries, you soak them for at least a couple of hours to make them nice and soft. And I'll just sprinkle a bunch of goji berries on top. Now, if I've got a busy life, if I'm having a lot to do, if I eat that, I'm going to be really well nourished, and that's going to keep me going for a long time. So, cheers. Green superfood breakfast. Alright, so that was the green superfood breakfast. Let's move on to the brown superfood breakfast. For this one, I'm going to be putting all the same superfoods as I put in before, but I might choose to leave the spirulina and the chlorella out, or maybe even the stevia, so we won't have any green ones in this. So I'll be putting all the other superfoods in as before. Just imagine I've already done that. And then what I would do is I would get hold of either a good cocoa or a good chocolate. So this is actually chocolate which has been grated, and I would sprinkle a really good scoop of the chocolate in there. Tiny bit more water and thoroughly mix that in. Raw cacao paste is what chocolate is made from. This is one of the finest ingredients if you can get hold of it, and as you can see it comes in these huge lumps, and what you do is you literally grate it on top like that. Very, very powerful antioxidants. Antioxidants really help the body to work well, and guess what? Pomegranates, raw cacao, all the superfoods really rich in the antioxidants, so that's one of the reasons why they're so good for you. And supposing you're limited on the superfood, supposing the only one you can get hold of is this one here, the bee pollen, and I have the bee pollen in there as well, generous amount of bee pollen. And as before, I'd grate an apple. Stir it in. Then I'd be looking for any red fruit I could get my hands on, as well as these wonderful pomegranate seeds and strawberries. The other thing is you could consider cherries. Cherries are very good in superfood breakfast. They go really well. And go with the banana again. And then, last of all, when everything else is in there, a good portion of goji berries on top. And there you are, that's what I call the brown superfood breakfast. Again, nutrition packed, delicious, keep you going for a long time. And there's brown superfood breakfast. You can make this under almost any conditions of travelling, if you might happen to be. Simply soaking the goji berries, superfoods going in simply as powders, the fruits just washed, cut up. Superfood breakfast. There you go, that's it, thank you.